Coming up on this episode of UMTV News, hundreds of thousands of people stranded around the country as flight cancellation continued to rise.
Plus, we give you updates on the March Madness competition and who came out victorious.
And Ukrainian President Zelensky gives a passionate plea at the Grammys. We will tell you what he said later on the show.
These stories and a lot more on today's edition of UMTV News.
It starts right now. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of UMTV News. I'm Shrishti Jaiswal.
And I'm Nicole Brites. Thank you for joining us this evening. Thousands of flight cancellations and delays have disrupted travel plans over the weekend, just in time for spring break. According to the flight tracking website called FlightAware, more than 3,500 U.S. flights were canceled on Saturday and Sunday. JetBlue, Southwest, Alaska Airlines, Frontier, Spirit, and American Airlines were most affected. In a statement, a JetBlue spokesperson said severe weather in the southeast and air traffic control delays were the problem. Southwest blamed it on an intermittent technology issue as well as weather challenges. According to FlightAware, besides Boston, there were also major disruptions at several Florida airports, as well as Baltimore and New York.
The United Nations is sounding the alarm on global warming. The third and the final installment of the 6th UN Intergovernmental Panel's climate changes report says the world is heading towards an environmental disaster. UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres says the report indicates the global temperature could surpass 3 Celsius degree warmer than pre-industrial levels by the end of the century. That's more than double the 1.5 degree threshold scientists warn could lead to disastrous and irreversible impacts. The report also says solutions like wind and solar in their current forms are robust enough to prevent that fate. It goes on to blame politics and fossil fuels interests for standing in the way.
Several federal agencies are preparing for major influx at the U.S. borders. As the Biden administration has announced, it will end a pandemic-era restriction that blocked many migrants from entering the United States.
With COVID-19 restrictions lifting across the country, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says there's no longer a public health need to turn migrants away.
And continues to be the case that this is a health directive determined by the CDC.
The CDC announcing it will lift the restriction known as Title 42 on May 23rd. That means a return to traditional immigration protocols that have been in place for decades. The Department of Homeland Security says it is preparing for a worst-case projection of up to 18,000 people trying to cross the border daily.
And it requires the implementation of appropriate COVID-19 mitigation protocols, also scaling up capacity and scaling up resources needed.
Opponents from both parties fear the U.S. is not ready for the influx.
Ending Title 42 without any real border security plan in place would spark a humanitarian and security crisis like we've never seen before.
I think there should be considered. I sent a letter. I'm against removing Title 42. If anything, it would be looking at permanency of Title 42.
The CDC has announced that Title 42 will end on May 23rd.
Jury selection has begun in the trial of Parkland High School shooter Nicholas Cruz. Life in prison or the death penalty, that's what's on the table for Cruz. He pleaded guilty in October to opening fire at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School in Parkland, Florida in 2018, killing 17 people and hurting 17 more. To begin discussing the death penalty, the jurors would have to unanimously agree on aggravating factor. If that happens, then death sentence must also be unanimous decision. If capital punishment is recommended, the final decision still rests with the judge.
We're learning more about the deadly shooting in Sacramento this weekend. 6 people were killed and 12 others were injured. More than 100 shell casings littered the ground after police think multiple people opened fire Sunday. By Monday, the police have arrested Dandre Martin. He was in court today facing charges of assault and illegal firearm possession. But officials say there will probably even more arrests as police continue their investigation. Right now, they're talking to witnesses and going through more than 100 video or photo files that have been uploaded on a tip portal. At this point, police think all of this started because of a fight, and they think there were multiple shooters. This was the second mass shooting in Sacramento in the past 5 weeks.
Time for a short break now, but still ahead. March Madness is over. We'll let you know who took home the title on both the men's and the women's side.
And one club team is going on a run all the way to sectionals. Erica Jones has the story when we come back. Don't go anywhere.
Bro, but you're not even gonna do anything. Yes, I was. Yes, no.
On Monday night, the madness of March finally came to an end. The Kansas Jayhawks defeated the UNC Tar Heels in the men's college basketball national title game in a thrilling 72-69 finish. This matchup was not like any game Kansas had seen so far in the tournament. Kansas went down at half 40-25 and came back to outscore North Carolina by 18 points in the second half, making this the biggest comeback in college basketball championship history. The Hawks were led by David McCormack and Remy Martin. Both were driving forces in the electric Kansas comeback.
I was in the locker room just telling the guys, like, just believe in yourself, like, have fun with it. It's our last game regardless. If you do what you need to do, because that's how we got here in the first place. Don't doubt yourself.
This is the fourth time in the history that the Kansas Jayhawks getting to bring the trophy back to Lawrence, and Bill Self's second time as Kansas head coach that he gets to call himself a champion.
Kansas is not the only team celebrating a national championship this week. South Carolina and UConn took the court in Minneapolis for the women's title game, and for the second time, the Gamecocks were victorious. All the talk leading up to this game highlighted UConn's historic program, but the South Carolina women came in and said it's our turn. The 1-seed Gamecocks took home a 64-49 victory over the 2-seed Huskies. This win makes Coach Don Statly 2-0 in NCAA appearances. South Carolina's roster is stacked with talent, but junior forward Aliyah Boston led her team throughout the tournament. The title game marked Boston's 30th double-double of the season. She has been named both National Player of the Year and Final Four's Most Outstanding Player.
Many people think of Frisbee as simply throwing a disc around with friends. But believe it or not, it's a competitive sport, and the University of Miami has a men's and a women's team. Reporter Erica Jones spent some time with the women's ultimate Frisbee team to see what makes the sport and the team so unique, and join us now live to tell us more. Erica?
Thanks, Shrishti. On the surface, Frisbee seems like many other field sports, but many people don't know that the game has very unconventional rules. I spent the day with the women's ultimate Frisbee team to see just what makes this sport so unique.
2, 3, Cubs team!
Frisbee might not be a sport you watch on ESPN or the ACC network, but for one group of 13 girls at the University of Miami, it's the ultimate team sport.
I fell in love with the sport pretty quickly, but first I fell in love with the team. It really just became my close group of friends on campus, people I could really lean on and depend on, and people who wanted me to be my best and grow.
The women's ultimate Frisbee team is in its 11th season, and the girls are hard at work for next week's sectionals tournament.
Nice catch, Daniela!
This university-funded club sport travels and competes like most other teams. What makes Frisbee stand out is the emphasis on discipline, sportsmanship, and self-accountability without a referee.
The players are actually the people who call the fouls. That's the way we keep each other accountable. There's no referees or third parties to call those fouls for us. And if someone disagrees or contests, then it's a discussion rather than a fight.
This behavior on the field builds a very high level of respect across both individual and opposing teams. When we play teams at competitive tournaments, everyone is really friendly to each other. Actually, after games, we have something called a spirit circle where we give each other shout outs, give each other spirit awards, and just talk about the game and come together as a sport overall.
Frisbee is a very friendly competition. You don't see anger, aggression, or frustration on the field.
So it still has the athleticism, still has the competition, but it also has just like friendship and sportsmanship, which is a really healthy, fun way to play sports.
And unlike other college sports that demand years of practice, anyone can try out for both the men's and women's ultimate teams. No experience is required.
A lot of people just start in college and pick it up here, which makes it different than other sports where you don't have to be playing your whole life to try something new and do something athletic.
And once these girls start to play, the passion is undeniable.
I have a Frisbee tattoo on my ankle. It's really a big part of who I am. It's how I met all my best friends, and I really want to share that love that I have for Frisbee with other people and get more people involved and keep the team growing.
The annual Hatter fundraiser for the Frisbee team is this Saturday, and it has to happen before the girls head to Gainesville for sectionals. For $20, you can stop by the IM fields from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. to play in some bracket-style games to help support the women's ultimate team. For UMTV, I'm Erica Jones.
Thank you, Erica. Could you imagine being locked in a room with your friends, only given several clues to escape? Now imagine doing that with complete strangers. Our reporter Caroline McDonald is live in the studio to tell us about a special event that brings UM's campus a little bit closer. Caroline?
For a commuter student or first-year transfers, there's certainly challenges that come with being new to a school or living off campus. University of Miami Commuter Student Council specializes in finding ways to bring together all students at UM, no matter where they live or where they come from. The council held an event last Thursday welcoming all UM students to come and try to solve an escape room. The council redesigned a room on the 3rd floor of the Shola building where they left over 7 clues to help participants find a way to literally escape the room. Activities included unlocking different boxes, finding hidden passwords throughout the room to move on to the next clue, and keeping an eye out on the clock. This was a way for commuter students to have an opportunity to meet other commuters and students who live on campus while also enjoying a fun and collaborative event.
Well, I thought it was a really well-organised event. You know, big shout out to the commuters who kind of organised this. I thought it was really well done. I think, yeah, it can definitely be hard, I think, for some commuter students to really get that on-campus experience, and I think societies like the Commuter Society really help students.
Many commuter students like Henry have found that these events are very helpful to meet people. The Commuter Council plans to keep having these on-campus events and is dedicated to giving more chances for off-campus students to meet. The Commuter Council will be holding more events and workshops before the end of the semester, so keep a lookout on their Instagram at UM Council, where they will announce any upcoming events. I'm Caroline McDonald reporting for UMTV News.
Thanks, Caroline.
We will take a short break now, but there's a lot more to come on UMTV News. As we approach the final months of the school year, we will tell you some ways that you can ease your stress through finals.
And later on, we will take you to one celebration of Haitian culture on campus. Stay with us.
I didn't talk about it. I was told not to talk about it. So I'm here to talk about it.
Because I can't stay quiet.
I was able to break my silence.
Because of those who refuse to stay quiet.
I am a businesswoman.
Activist.
Survivor. Survivor.
Survivor.
The slap heard from around the world. Following a joke gone wrong on the Grammy stage about Jada Pinkett Smith's hairstyle, Will Smith is still receiving extreme backlash for his violent actions. The Academy has come out with a statement claiming they tried to remove Smith following him slapping Chris Rock, but that he refused. Taking matters into his own hands, Smith has resigned from the Academy.
And speaking of award ceremonies, the 64th annual Grammy Awards took place in Las Vegas this past Sunday. However, the real spotlight fell upon Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky, pre-recorded video from Ukraine making a desperate plea.
The war. What's more opposite to music? The silence of ruined cities and killed people. Our children draw swooping rockets, not shooting stars. Over 400 children have been injured and 153 children died, and we'll never see them drawing.
Zelensky's prepared message reached quite the audience of established artists, including Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, and Carrie Underwood. Performances from Olivia Rodrigo to Billie Eilish shocked the Grammy stage, while Bruno Mars and Silk Sonic brought in 2 of the biggest awards of the night. Song of the Year, and the Record of the Year.
And speaking of the Grammys, after a 4-year break from social media, Selena Gomez says that she does not miss the drama that came from social media stardom. The singer told Good Morning America that she's been off social media for 4 years, and she says has not regretted that decision one bit. The star has been open about her bipolar disorder and says that since removing herself from social media, she's been a lot happier and healthier. She also shared that she finds it more important to promote mental health resources, such as the platform Wondermind, with her 300 million followers, instead of sharing every aspect of her life.
And speaking of health and well-being from eliminating yourself from social media, we are in the final month of our spring semester. It is always amazing to get motivation and guidance from a spiritual reader. The readers at the Celestial Treasure store in Coconut Grove help people from all walks of life. The store is stocked with a diverse selection of crystals that are personally handpicked, which helps in discovering one's personal path throughout their journey. Crystals are really helpful for students that are facing challenges and lack of focus in their final stretch of semester.
So it's great for students specifically, because sometimes you just are like this, running, and the moment that you try to do something, it's hard because you can't focus.
Celestial Treasure, located in Coconut Grove and in the business since 2006. By simple act of holding the crystals, they add energy in your body and gives positive vibrations.
To kick off Haitian Culture Week, the University of Miami Planet Creole Haitian Student Organization put together a beauty pageant at the Shalala Student Center. Our reporter Valentina went to the pageant and joins us now live to tell us more. Valentina, how was it?
The Planet Creole Student Organization brought a piece of paradise right here to campus. I got a chance to attend the Miss Creole Beauty Pageant for a night celebrating cultural excellence.
To celebrate Haitian Culture Week, the Planet Creole Haitian Student Organization at the University of Miami put together a beauty pageant to promote their culture on campus.
The whole theme for pageants is the Paradis, which means country of paradise. So what's going to happen is we have 6 contestants, and they're basically going to exemplify country of paradise, which is Haiti, and they're going to show that through their different categories such as talent, cultural wear, and evening wear.
Contestants were judged on 4 categories: the opening dance, cultural dress, ball gowns, and most importantly, talent, where contestants were able to showcase what makes them unique.
I'm doing a musical skit titled What God Put Me Through, so it's a skit / praise dance at the same time. Hopefully the crowd loves it.
Guests enjoyed a night filled with entertainment, ranging from 360 selfie booth, live music, and Haitian cuisine.
Yeah, so I hope to learn more about Haitian culture and sort of just what it is that makes them unique and what it is that they're really proud of.
Members from the Haitian community will be able to come showcase their culture and portray the true beauty of their country.
One of the negative stigmas around Haiti is just that it's poverty, it's very impoverished, there's not really beauty to it. So we're trying to denounce that with pageants. So basically our contestants are going to do that for us.
Members of the organization share a common goal: to show the true beauty of Haiti and denounce negative stigmas associated with the country.
And we're trying to showcase that we are a beautiful country who have beautiful beaches, beautiful waterfalls, and beautiful landmarks in our country. So we're just trying to showcase the beauty of it, because we're not, in society, we're not really shown that in our society.
Although only one beauty queen was crowned winner, the pageant served to unite the Haitian community.
So the whole pageant just signifies our culture of Haiti. It's a time for all Haitians to come together and showcase who we are as a people and what we represent.
If you're interested in joining the Planet Creole organization, or if you'd like to be a contestant for next year's event, you can email umplanetcreole@gmail.com. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Valentina Pope.
Thank you, Valentina. Today is National Hug a News Person Day. Go find yourself a local anchor and give them a tight hug. Squeeze for all their hard works.
Shristi, I think we both deserve a big hug today.
Thanks, Nicole. It's great to be a news anchor with you and the rest of our team here at the UMTV News.
It sure is. That's all the time we have for this week's episode. Thank you for joining us.
We'll be back next week. Have a great night.